Hello from Bali. This is the podcast Pigeon of Peace where we do discuss awesome skills of troubleshooters. Watch, listen, and check the description below for the details. Let's talk about cartography and let's start with the definition.
Right now, everyone is going to have a navigator or maybe some special app in mobile phone. And if you do not know the direction, you just switch it on and the voice and the picture will show you where to go and how to achieve your aim. But it was time when people has no ability to have gadgets in their pockets and they were using just paper maps. And it was like 15 years ago, maybe 20 years ago, I was asking my father to meet me in the middle of the Kiev, capital of the Ukraine. And I came because I know this region, and my father was approaching me with a paper map. And it was so strange. It was maybe like 10 years of already PDAs and smartphones. And were quite easy to use some program. It was before traffic jam in Yandex. It was before Google Maps, but it was like Teradata. It was like iGo and some other programs which were creating visualization of the land, of the landscape. And it was very funny when I was just taking lessons how to drive the truck. We were using two books, one for a small town and another for a region. And before you go into other city, you will see and you will look at the pages and you will try to remember how to find the crossroads and something like this.
And if you look back into the history, so when was the first map or maybe first prototype of the map appeared on the radar of the historical people?
It's funny to know, but the first known map was made on stone, and it was digged from, I don't know how to say it incorrectly, by Sumerian civilization. They were creating several stone. For one stone, it was about star map. Another is about kingdom map. And once more, it's about, I don't know how to say, palace map, dворец.
That's what the palace map is a good one.
Palace map. And after those time, it was a lot of different funny things. For example, I don't know how to say it in English. Is it okay to say compass?
Compass, yes.
Compass. It was used for 8 centuries in Feng Shui, and after it was in usage for sailors. If I will talk about astrolabia, is it okay to say?
Astrolabe, yes.
Astrolabe. This was equipment just to know where the Mecca is located while you make your prayers. And after it was also in use of the sailors. And a lot of different stuff were used for rituals, for spiritual talking to gods and so on. And also to know the map, it was very important. By the way, there were a funny story about Russian king. Once upon a time, king asked his scientist, is it possible to understand where is the midland of the Russian empire? And a lot of mathematicians were trying to calculate the exact place. And one of them denied such a method, and he just cut it up from the cardboard, huge country, and then put on the needle and try to balance it. And then he make a small punch and showed this is the middle of the country. So no need to use high quality maps.
Well, this is actually quite interesting. Like when mathematicians trying to solve the problem, they definitely would solve it, no matter the output, what will be the output is. And it's actually quite interesting because you mentioned the scale, and especially in the ancient times, different people would have at a different point of time, at a different state of the nature, they would have a different sense of the sizes. So how there was like, or maybe how hypothetically there was agreement developed on the scales, like how exactly should the river measured, what will be the size, let's say, of some of the forests that people can't really go into and really measure, like what exactly there. Yet they would end up putting it on the map, and which would still have a meaning and allow other people use it, and moreover navigate through it efficiently?
First goal for the rich people or for king lords or landlords, it was to know where enemies are located. And in such case, those people who were trying to draw map on the paper or on the silk, they were trying just to represent the scale, but everything was drawn in a large amount of mistakes because for example, you will see on the piece of silk all the island or all the country. You know, it was very funny. I was head of economical security of Ukraine Alpha Bank, and I was like for 5 years sitting in the cabinet with huge map of the Ukraine. And suddenly I was summoned to Moscow for some deal. And when I entered the cabinet of head of economical security of Russian Alpha Bank, I found that the same country as Ukraine, it was quite small on the huge map of the Russia. The same what was in ancient time. The larger country you were living in, the smaller scale it was. By the way, at some point of time, there were no such knowledge about other continents and about other banks of the rivers. So you would thinking that you live on some space and all strangers and barbarians, they came abroad from nowhere. By the way, if, for example, you will drive BMW in the Moscow right now under the sanctions, your BMW will say this is a place of nowhere because there are no such a map for new car which was imported after the sanctions. And another point, if you have a map, you need to know how many people live on this map. So geographical accuracy was on the third place. First was how many people and who is the owner of the land, because it was about taxation.
Well, then we actually would move to another kind of an interesting thing, because when I was also thinking about this topic, one thing that I figured out, there should be a group of people or like like departments or institutions or maybe network or infrastructure that actually would support making this cartography, making sure that all of the data is updated. I do believe it was like clustered, like some certain group of people would have a certain knowledge of certain places. So what might be potentially or hypothetically interactions between all of them to make it sure more or less they see the same picture of the world?
Right now, there is a well-known abbreviation like GIS, Geographical Information System. If you look into the cities, you will find several layers. It's about pipes, it's about wires, it's about roads for cars, it's about ways for pedestrian, пешеход.
Pedestrian path.
Pedestrian paths. This is about lighting, this is about gas, and this is about Wi-Fi zones. This is about some other stuff like way for the disabled people. Is it okay to say?
Yeah, it's a good one.
Okay. So, for example, if you want to dig something to put, I don't know, pylon to put a bulb to light the street, is it okay to say pylon, or how to is it named?
Or like a street lamp.
Street lamp, you should ask a lot of different institution if there are any water pipe or gas pipe or maybe other wires or something like this. So right now, each big city and each country has a lot of different maps which will show what is hidden on the earth. The same, I am a crazy diver and I was diving almost in all huge lakes, all oceans and all seas. And sometime I was also using some special sea maps. And on these maps, there is a so-called wrecks, this sinked ship, submarines, and some dive sites. And it was also currents which are drawn on the map. And the same, I was trying to have a license to be a pilot. In Germany, I was trying to learn, and I have it. And they also have very strange looking maps, how to understand directions, what is the site and what is the huge structures you should be aware of while flying.
And then my last question will be how knowing about cartography could help make this world a better place.
I will explain you several things. When I was quite young, I was going to touristic trips with a group of child with our teacher, and I was not capable to run or to do some fast stuff, and I was appointed to draw the maps. And at this time, I learned, for example, such a small thing like a berg. Berg, it's in German mountain, and there is a small strich which is named Bergstrich. And for example, if you have some line curve and you have all those Bergstrich out of the line, it means this mountain, and it shows us the way water will go. Or vice versa, if you will have curve and all Bergstrichs would go inside of this space, it means that it is hole in the land. And sometimes it helped me to read the map on some forgotten islands, on some so-called pirates map and something like this. And I'm happy that I know this. And it was quite a funny stuff. Once we were stuck with a truck like 20 or 25 years ago, and there was a time when no electrical navigation, but the driver was having the map in the, I don't know, car compartment. It's okay to say? Bardachke, car compartment.
That's a good one.
And I asked him, can you please bring? Then I saw several roads, several pipes, several electrical lines, and I showed the space on the map. So I was not trying to find the way on the map. I was trying to find on the map where we are located right now.
And we reviewed the skill of cartography and how it could be helpful for you. Stay in peace.